July 8th, 1592, dawn rises over the grey waters of the Namhai Strait, and a cool sea mist drifts between the islands. The cries of gulls echo over the waves, but beneath that calm, something else brews. Something sharper, metallic. The faint clatter of oars, the groan of wooden hulls, the creak of armor plates shifting in the morning light. To the east, dozens of Japanese banners flicker as scarlet silhouettes through the haze. War cries carry over the water. Kiheitai soldiers sharpening their yari, gunners priming their Tanegashima matchlocks, samurai tightening their sewed armor plates. The fleet belongs to Wakisaka Yasuharu, one of Japan's most aggressive commanders under Toyotomi Hideyoshi. He has come to crush the Joseon Navy once and for all. But he is unaware, fatally unaware, of who waits beyond those tiny forested islands. To the west, almost invisible in the layered fog, Admiral Yi Sun-sin stands on the deck of his flagship. His armor is dark lacquered iron. His hand rests quietly on the railing. Around him, his officers watch the water with disciplined stillness. The only sound is the soft flutter of the Admiral's command banner and the rhythmic breathing of the crew. Yi Sun-sin does not pace, he does not shout. His calm is legendary, calm enough to unsettle even his own captains. But inside that quiet presence, calculations are unfolding at lightning speed. 13 ships, 13 turtle ships and panokseons, against more than 70 Japanese warships. By every conventional measure, this is suicide. But Yi Sun-sin is not a conventional commander. And this is not a conventional navy. He lifts a spyglass to his eye. Beyond the smoke-gray water, Japanese banners multiply like rising embers. He lowers the spyglass. "They have taken the bait," he says quietly. For days he allowed rumors to spread that Joseon ships were scattered, terrified, in retreat. He sent small decoy vessels to lure Japanese scouts deeper into the maze of islands where tide, wind, and geography favored the Koreans. Wakisaka's fleet charged forward without caution, believing Yi Sun-sin weak, believing victory inevitable. Yi's voice remains soft, but every man can hear him. "Raise the anchor." A deep thud echoes through the hull. Oars dip into the sea. Turtle ships, covered in spiked iron plating, begin to move like armored beasts waking from slumber. Their dragon-head prows snarl at the horizon, mouths open to unleash smoke, fire, and cannon blasts. The formations shift. Slowly, gracefully, perfectly controlled. This is the maneuver the Japanese have never seen, the one Yi invented, tested, refined. A formation shaped like a crane with wings extended, or as his men call it, the crane wing, the T formation. Each Korean ship angles slightly outward, forming a curved front that can tighten or expand. If Japanese ships rush forward, the formation swallows them. If they try to retreat, the wings close behind. A trap that moves, a trap disguised as open sea. Officers glance nervously at their admiral, but Yi Sun-sin remains still. He will not move until the exact wind he needs arrives. His men have learned to trust this patience. The Japanese have not. Suddenly the breeze shifts. A low whistle. Yi's eyes sharpen, signal the advance. Flags rise, drums thunder, and the 13 Joseon warships glide like a single creature toward the Japanese vanguard. The turtle ships at the center open their dragon maws and release thick clouds of sulphurous smoke, blotting out the sky. The water vibrates as cannons, heavy hwacha rounds and iron balls begin to roar. The first Japanese ships hesitate. This is not what they expected. There is no chaos, no disorganized Joseon rabble. Only precision. Wakisaka's samurai shout over the confusion, urging the fleet onward. They have numbers. They have momentum. They believe they can ram, board, and overwhelm the Koreans as they did on land. But then the Japanese commanders see it, really see it. The formation. a perfect wall of Korean ships stretching left to right, and widening. Every second they advance, the wings grow larger, the trap tightens. A single samurai officer on Wakisaka's flagship drops his telescope. His voice trembles. They're not running, they're surrounding us. But by then, Yi Sun-sin has already made his decision. The drums beat 3 times, every Korean oar slams forward in unison. The turtle ships accelerate. Yi Sun-sin raises one gloved hand, and the entire Joseon fleet unleashes a cannon barrage that shakes the sea. Japanese decks erupt in fire and splinters. Rows of samurai are thrown into the water. War horns blare in panic. And somewhere deep inside the erupting chaos, Wakisaka Yasuharu realizes he has sailed into a masterpiece, and Yi Sun-sin has just begun. The sea turns into a thunderstorm of cannon fire. Shattered planks, broken oars, and torn banners scatter across the Namhai Strait. The first line of Japanese medium ships, Ataka-byun and Seki-byun, reel backward as iron cannonballs tear through their hulls. Smoke erupts in white plumes, followed by the desperate screams of men thrown from the decks. On Admiral Yi's flagship, the deck vibrates from each recoil. The panokseon's wide, flat hull absorbs the shock, barely shifting. Yi Sun-sin stands firm, scanning the chaos, reading it like a general reads a map. "Hold formation," he commands. His officers echo the order, and messengers race along the deck. The oarsmen, hidden below, row with rhythmic precision. Above them, Korean gunners reload hwacha bolts, stone rounds, and iron slugs with practiced discipline. Yi's ships do not chase. They do not break ranks. They only tighten the crane wing, inch by inch, as the Japanese surge straight into the mouth of the formation. From the Japanese side, this moment feels unreal. Wakisaka Yasuharu had expected terrified peasants. Joseon fishermen pressed into naval service. Instead, he faces a navy trained to fire volleys in unison, to maneuver as one, to maintain formation under conditions that would shatter most fleets. But what terrifies him most is the sound. Not chaos, not panic, but Korean war drums, steady, confident, unbroken. The turtle ship at the center lowers its dragon head, and a blast of flame rolls over the nearest Japanese ship. Smoke pours from its iron jaws, engulfing enemy decks. The spiked plating along the turtle ship's roof makes boarding impossible. Arrows bounce off harmlessly. A Japanese samurai captain shouts, "Close in! Grapple them!" But his command dies on his tongue as another cannonball rips across his deck. Korean artillery is firing at a range the Japanese cannot match. Their muskets, deadly in land warfare, are nearly useless at this distance. Their ships, built for speed and boarding, cannot withstand the pounding of Joseon cannons. Yi Sun-sin sees the hesitation. He nods once. "Forward sweep." The signal rises. At that moment, the entire Korean fleet pushes outward, the wings of the T formation spreading into a wide arc. It's as if the sea itself is opening its jaws. The Japanese ships instinctively try to break left, straight into the left wing. Those who turn right meet the right wing's cannons, and those who charge forward meet the turtle ships, waiting like armored predators. The trap is now total. The Japanese fleet, 70 ships strong, finds itself compressed into a tightening crescent of death. Yi lifts his spyglass. Through the haze, he sees Wakisaka's flagship, larger, towering, its banner flapping violently in the smoke. He watches the Japanese commander gesturing madly, trying to force his ships into a tighter formation. They're attempting to use their numbers, trying to board, trying to swarm. Yi Sun-sin does not flinch. "Bring the turtle ships forward." The beasts move. Their iron spikes glint in the firelight. Their cannon ports flash like lightning. Their dragon mouths snarl, pouring black smoke that blinds the Japanese archers completely. A Japanese ashigaru coughs violently, stumbling across his deck. The smoke burns his eyes. He looks up just in time to see the rounded iron-plated hull of a turtle ship smash into his side. The impact is thunderous. The deck splinters. Men fall to their knees. Then the cannons fire point blank. One Japanese ship sinks instantly. Another bursts into flames. A third tries to ram the turtle ship's flank, but the spikes tear through its hull like claws through bamboo. The Koreans move methodically, relentlessly. Yi Sun-sin watches it all in silence, but his mind is racing. Do not let them escape. Do not let them regroup. Close the wings. Collapse the center. He gives a final hand gesture. The crane wing snaps shut. Panokseons from both sides cross their cannon fire over the Japanese center, turning the water into a boiling cauldron of smoke and iron. Every Japanese ship caught in the middle is now exposed to 2 angles of fire at once. Wakisaka Yasuharu's face drains of color. He sees his fleet collapsing. He sees the trap he charged into. And he understands, too late, that this was never a battle. It was a lesson, a harsh one, a brilliant one, a fatal one. Admiral Yi Sun-sin lowers his hand. His voice is calm, almost gentle. Advance. Break them completely. And the Joseon fleet moves forward like a wall of steel. The Japanese line finally buckles. The Japanese line buckles, then snaps. Ships twist sideways, colliding as their oars entangle. Panic shouts ripple across their decks. Samurai stumble as the floor beneath them tilts. The smoke is so thick now that even seasoned veterans cough violently, eyes burning, vision blurred. But in the center of this chaos, Wakisaka Yasuharu refuses to flee. Not yet. His flagship, larger and sturdier than most, cuts through burning debris as he forces it forward. He grips the railing with white-knuckled tension. His jaw locks as he watches another Japanese vessel burst under the impact of a turtle ship's iron-plated bow. "Signal the reserve ships," he shouts. "Form up behind me. We'll punch through their left." His officers hesitate. They've never seen a formation like Yi Sun-sin's, never fought an enemy who uses cannon volleys with the precision of matchlock lines. But Wakisaka's will is iron. If he breaks, the entire fleet breaks. He raises his katana high. Forward! The flagship heaves into motion, pushing through burning wrecks. Behind it, a cluster of Japanese medium ships rally, 20, maybe 25, still enough to cause damage if they could close the distance. Yi Sun-sin notices immediately. From the deck of his flagship, he does not look alarmed. He looks curious. He wants to break the left wing. He thinks our flank is weak. Yi turns to his captains. "Shift the left wing. Let them come." Flag signal across the water. The left wing's ships slow, opening a seemingly vulnerable gap. Wakisaka sees it and seizes the opportunity. "This is it," he shouts. "Follow me." His ships surge toward the gap, accelerating as oars churn the water into white foam. Samurai ready their grappling hooks. Musketeers stand by their railings, waiting to unleash volleys the moment they're close enough. For the first time in the battle, Wakisaka feels momentum shifting. They're going to break through. They're going to reach open water. They're going to flank the Joseon ships and turn the tide. But Admiral Yi Sun-sin is already a step ahead. The moment Wakisaka's spearhead pushes into the gap, Yi lifts one hand. "Close the wing!" The trap snaps shut. 2 Joseon panokseons swing inward like collapsing gates, perfectly timed. Cannon blasts smash across Wakisaka's lead ships from both sides. Lethal crossfire that rips through decks and armor. The flagship shudders violently as a cannonball punches through the midsection, sending splinters and men flying. The Japanese formation stalls. Their forward motion halts. Their oarsmen panic. Their spearhead collapses on itself. Wakisaka stumbles, blood running down his forearm from a shattered rail. But he is a battlefield commander to the last. He steadies himself and roars, "Board them! Get us to their decks, now!" His men throw grappling hooks toward the nearest Korean ship, but the iron spikes on the roof tear every rope apart. Another attempt fails. Arrows bounce harmlessly off the turtle ship's armored shell. And then Yi Sun-sin gives the deadliest order of the day. Forward battery, fire. A thunderous broadside erupts at near point-blank range. One Japanese ship buckles, rolls and sinks bow first within seconds. Another ignites instantly as flaming arrows rain across an open gunpowder barrel. A third tries to retreat, but panokseons from behind block every escape. Wakisaka watches 3 of his best ships vanish in less than a minute. His officers stare at him, eyes wide, silently begging for the order to flee. But Wakisaka's pride refuses. He turns toward his helmsman. Then the turtle ship hits. A full-force ram, iron spikes smashing into the Japanese flagship's flank. The impact blasts Wakisaka backwards. Men are hurled into the sea. Deck beams crack. The entire hull lists violently to one side. Smoke pours into the lower decks as ammunition ignites. The turtle ship pulls back, then fires all forward guns at once. The blast is blinding. The flagship's middle deck erupts into fiery splinters. The mast collapses. Wakisaka's banner, emblazoned with the crest of his clan, falls into the water and disappears beneath the waves. For a brief moment, Wakisaka Yasuharu stands amid the wreckage, staring at the horizon, at the formation that destroyed him, at the Admiral who executed a masterpiece with only 13 ships. Then he gives the order his men feared. Retreat. Full retreat. His voice cracks but carries across the remaining decks. Signal the others. Fall back. All ships. Fall back. But his signal officers hesitate, not because they disobey, but because they no longer know who is left to signal. Behind them, half the fleet is sinking. Panicked survivors cling to drifting debris. Burning masts collapse into the sea. The water is a canvas of ash, fire, and broken hope. And Admiral Yi Sun-sin, standing tall with smoke swirling around him, speaks softly. They run to the open water. Do not give chase. His captains blink in surprise. They will scatter. He says, let the sea take the rest. Because he knows the truth, victory is total, and pursuit is unnecessary. The Japanese are broken, their morale shattered, their momentum halted. Hansando belongs to Korea, and Toyotomi Hideyoshi's invasion will never recover from what happened here. The sea falls quiet. The thunder of cannon fire fades into distant echoes bouncing between the forested islands of Hansando. Smoke drifts low across the strait, mixing with the salty air. The morning sun turns the water red and gold, reflecting flames still smoldering on broken hulls. What remains of Wakisaka Yasuharu's great fleet scatters in every direction, ships limping, sails torn, crews shaken to their core. Some vessels row desperately toward Busan, others drift aimlessly, their helms shattered, their officers dead. Many will never reach shore. On the deck of Yi Sun-sin's flagship, the Korean admiral removes his helmet. His hair is damp with sweat, but his expression is composed, almost solemn. Victories like this are not moments of celebration for him. They are responsibilities, burdens he must carry, for the country that depends on him. His officers bow deeply. Admiral, the Japanese have fled. Yi gazes across the wreckage, counting silently. Not the enemy ships, his own, not one panokseon lost, not one turtle ship even close to sinking, and casualties among his fleet are shockingly low. It is a victory so complete, so absolute, that it borders on unbelievable. A junior officer approaches, breathless with excitement. General Yi, Ming envoys are requesting a full report. They heard the cannon fire from Cheongsan Island. They did not believe it was from only 13 ships. Yi nods. Of course they didn't. For years, Ming commanders considered their southern naval allies weak, useful only for scouting, not for real warfare. They believed the Japanese fleet to be unstoppable, that Korean waters belonged to Hideyoshi's generals. But this battle changes everything. Hansando proves that the Joseon Navy is the only true counterweight to the Japanese invasion. It proves that Yi Sun-sin is the greatest admiral Asia has ever produced, and it proves to the Ming that Korea is not a quiet tributary state, but a shield capable of defending all East Asia. Yi looks toward his captains. "Begin rescue operations," he orders. "Pull every survivor from the water, Japanese or Korean." His officers hesitate but comply. Yi Sun-sin has always been like this, brilliant in war, humane in victory, reluctant in cruelty. As Korean sailors haul soaked Japanese soldiers aboard, many of these men stare at the admiral in stunned silence. Minutes earlier, his cannons ripped their ships apart. Now he offers them water and clean cloth. This confuses them more than any weapon. While the rescue boats work, Yi walks the deck quietly, listening to the sea. Behind him, his deputy commander speaks, "Admiral, the people of Joseon will celebrate this day for generations. You have saved the nation." Yi turns slowly. "No," he says gently. "Today we protected the sea. But the war is not won." His eyes drift across the burning horizon, toward Busan, toward the supply lines feeding the Japanese armies still deep in the Korean peninsula. He knows Hideyoshi will not give up. He knows more fleets will come, stronger ones, larger ones, with commanders more cautious than Wakisaka. But he also knows something else. They will not surprise him again. A soft wind ripples the flag above him. A messenger arrives bowing. "Admiral, word has already reached land. Farmers along the coast are lighting beacons in your honor. Refugees are returning to their homes. And sir, children are chanting your name." Yi Sun-sin does not smile. He closes his eyes for a long moment. "I am no hero," he murmurs, "only a servant of Joseon." But the truth, whispered across villages, mountains and ports that very day, is different. A legend has been born. It will spread from sailor to soldier, from farmer to fisherman, from the Ming court to the shogun's spies, and finally to Hideyoshi himself. The Japanese warlords had believed their dominance on land would translate easily to the sea. They thought Joseon's navy was fragile, disorganized, weak. Hansando destroys that myth forever. And now, for the first time since the invasion began, Japan fears the sea. Because Admiral Yi controls it. As the sun sets, the last burning mast collapses with a hiss into the waves. The battlefield grows quiet. Yi Sun-sin steps back into his cabin to begin writing his official war diary, his Nanjung Ilgi, documenting every maneuver, every mistake, every moment won or lost. He ends the day with a single line. "Thanks to heaven, we achieved a great victory." Outside, his fleet anchors in a perfect disciplined crescent, ready for the next battle, ready to defend their homeland, ready for whatever Hideyoshi sends next. Because Hansando is not the end. It is the beginning. The Japanese invasion has met its immovable object, and the world has just learned the name of the man who commands the sea, Admiral Yi Sun-sin.